All right, Bandidos, listen up. It's your weekend heads up video. I've got you covered with everything you need to know to make the most of your weekend gaming in the First Descendant, so you don't have to panic at the last minute. Now, let's get into why this is way more important than whatever else you're doing this weekend. First up, I'll give you the lowdown on what's arrived with the weekend-only ETA0 Vendor. Some of these items, straight up gotta get them. Then we're talking Reactor Farms, and not just any Reactor Farms, but the ones you'll be kicking yourself for missing when the targeted loot map resets. And finally, we'll be diving into the recent news, patch notes, and what's coming in the next week and updates so you can stay one step ahead of the grind. Let's do this.
Tux makes it exciting!
Let's go ahead and take a look at the roadmap that I created for the First Descendant. We always have a lot of details coming in from the devs, whether it's on Twitter or a note that they post on their website or some sort of interview. So I decided to go ahead and put together a roadmap for the First Descendant that I'll be sharing with you as I update it every single week. So we'll do this as part of our weekend update. Now, it's going to be super high level because some of these details we actually cover in patch notes if we get a patch for that week, which they've been relatively regular about. So let's get into this. So at the very top, I put my summary so far for what has happened. Core of Season 1 has been around new Descendants Haley and Freyna so far, and an emphasis from the devs with hotfixes adjusting game according to player feedback with significant impacts to farming and mission difficulty. Player sentiment continues to grow stronger for the game despite high drop-off of player count early Season 1. This is a sign that the core player base is beginning to emerge. So here I have everything that we've seen and will be expecting in October, and with my sights as far out as Season 2. And again, this will be a rolling roadmap that I'll update on a weekly basis. At the very top for orientation, I got Season 1, and the red line shows its duration, which we have 43 days remaining, roughly, because we don't know exactly when Season 2 will launch. What we do know is that it'll be early December. Many of you know on October 10th was the big season update 1.14. That's where we got Ultimate Freyna, Deathstalker, ETA0 Vendor, 400% infiltration, and Freyna story quest. So people are now coming out with their Freynas, are now getting her leveled up, and the feedback has been extremely positive about her. So far, everybody's really enjoyed her, and a lot of you have really been enjoying the 400% infiltrations. I myself have as well, and I'm finding that it's pulling from the grind on a lot of these smaller elements because I'm playing these missions so much, and they're dropping lots of different kinds of rewards. The devs also released the ETA0 Vendor with this patch, and we were all really excited for that. With it came a new currency, and so although it's a step in the right direction, I still have loads of blueprints that I don't know what to do with. Perhaps in the future we could see maybe an exchange of these blueprints for caches that have a chance of dropping something more rare, or maybe they're resource caches or something like that. The Colossus Deathstalker has been a lot of fun. That being said, I've been exploring the other Colossus fights to see how they feel difficulty wise. I am seeing a lot of people still struggling a lot with the Molten Fortress. So this is a community reminder that I put out a guide here that might help you. You got to beat Molten Fortress and then Gluttony, and I have a guide on him as well, so take advantage of that before you can get to Deathstalker. And you want to fight Deathstalker because she has an ultimate weapon behind her, as well as a couple of new external component sets that are actually pretty cool. So also in October 10th patch, we saw Haley mods, Ultimate Freyna mods. We saw the Frost Watcher release I just mentioned, new external components, new power mods, and I think we're all updating our builds with these. These mods are giving more power to Descendants that aren't suitable for crits, but we were putting crits on them anyways because we didn't have anything else to do. It's a big upgrade for your Descendant, and it's worth adding the catalyst that you'd have to add to make those adjustments. I'm bringing those builds to you. Stay tuned. And then Essimo was buffed. I just launched an Essimo build this morning, so check that one out. We have hair dyeing. There was a recruit chat, Battlefield Reactor Farms. What that is, and it was confusing at first, the devs have released certain reactors tied to certain missions so that they're always there and they never rotate. So if you need a particular reactor, you can get it instead of having to wait for it to potentially land next week. And they nerfed Gluttony, and they launched an invitation event, which is a reward event for inviting your friends. On October 17th, this is the latest patch we received yesterday. It was mostly small bugs and quality of life fixes. So we saw an infiltration 400% bug fix, the ETA0 got a quality of life adjustment, more fixes for SEMO's Creative Explosion mod, and then some UI and user experience miscellaneous fixes. For October 24th, the only thing I see on my radar is that there'll be a primary account setup change on the Nexon website. So stay tuned for more details on that. They haven't released these changes to us yet. But this has to do with linking your accounts and cross-platform gameplay. In our most recent patch notes, they did mention on October 30th, we'll be receiving hotfix 1.16. With this comes special ops upgrades, and they're going to improve to make this the #1 way to farm weapon proficiency. So that's going to be huge, but they're also making them way more entertaining and high impact. I have a feeling they're going to feel like our 400% infiltrations, or a step towards that direction. And then the reactor implant system is coming on October 30th. That's huge. That's going to help and change the way we farm reactors and our ability to run multiple or different types of weapons without having to swap our reactor or lose power because we swapped weapons. And then there's a rename account feature, apparently that's been heavily requested, that's also launching on this date. Now, I don't have any intel on November, sadly, so nothing to talk about there, but I'm not worried about November. We just haven't received any details from the devs yet on it. But I have this as a placeholder because I'm wondering if we're gonna see it in November. It was a comment that they made, and it wasn't anything set in stone, but this is what they said. This was at the end of August. It says, "We are constantly monitoring feedback to further improve outposts and void fragments. For long-term improvements, the dev team is considering ideas to evolve outposts into a non-stop combat experience, as well as improving the farming accessibility of void fragments and fusion reactors with the integration of content." So they've done some of that with the void fragments into strategic operations, but that outpost one is a big deal. They've kind of gotten from, well, these are fun to really tedious to now kind of boring, and we need some more engagement there because we have to visit those for patterns. And it would be really cool to see those as a place we'd like to visit to engage in some sort of high action combat. The director also mentioned this in an interview. I'm having trouble finding it, but he mentioned the same thing, and he used the wording large outposts specifically. So season 2 starts in early December. Can you believe that? 43 days away approximately. And we're gonna get a mega dungeon. I don't know how mega, but I assume greater than 4 descendants will be able to play this. And then we're gonna get a utility companion. I'm excited for that. Some sort of pet, I'm guessing. And then a new descendant will be introduced and a new ultimate. Who's that going to be? I have a feeling it's going to be that mysterious agent number 17 or whatever his name is. And then we'll also be getting a new Colossus and potentially a new dungeon, or the new dungeon could be the Colossus. We'll see. So that's what I have for the roadmap. And I'll also put a link down below in case you want to download this. Let's start with that ETA0 vendor. He's here from Friday to Sunday night, so get your buys in before he's gone. So here's the deal. I'm not going to provide recommended buys because the recommendation is just to buy everything, literally, until you have no more currency. The 400% infiltrations are so popular, most players are super stocked up on those ETA vouchers. So much so, they're leaving them on the ground because they can't hold anymore in their inventory. The cap is 600 and you get there pretty easily. So check it out. If you are a regular in those 400% infiltrations, I recommend even buying the blueprints you don't need and then selling them back to the vendor on the premium side for a deep discount. You probably have so many blueprints to sell, it's gonna be a while before you even get to that. This is a bad exchange rate, but if you're like me and leaving so many ETA vouchers on the floor at the end of these missions, then you just might as well. That's that, so let's see the goods. This is the one that accepts your standard ETA vouchers. First up, we have more, what is this, storage slots? You're obviously gonna want that. I do, I'm always full. So I'm gonna buy those. And then precision code breakers, you're gonna get 6 of those for 15. So yep, of course. These are regular code breakers. I wish you could click in here and see what these apply to, because you end up having to reverse look these up. What does Form 5 apply to? But I'm just gonna buy them anyways. Python blueprint, a pretty good gun, and then a Blair code. Wow. So if you haven't unlocked Blair, there you go. The Zystra's Devotion, Synctium blueprint, and then an Ajax enhanced cell, a reversed fate synthetic fiber, the dagger nanotube, and then at the very bottom you have your cosmetics. Yeah, we're gonna make sure we get those. Platinum gold hair. So basically what happens is that if you buy everything, you still have a surplus or unused ETA vouchers. And all week we're playing those 400% infiltrations. So this is probably you. And this is also why I'm saying you might as well buy everything, which is a good segue because from here we got to spend our premium vouchers. So let's do that next. All right, let's see what we got. We have 2 more storage slots. Yes, please, buying those. And then what is this? Equipment slots plus 2. So I got 1,198 equipment slots. So that was storage slots. And then this is on your character. Got it. The terminology. All right. Got it. And then ultra precise. There we go. 3 of those. Just 3 more chances to hopefully get those Enzo mods, right? All right. And then crystallization catalyst blueprint. That is hot. That's definitely a must buy. If you're too busy to play this weekend, at least come in and get that. Restored relic blueprint. Another stabilizer. Form 7. What is this one? Piercing light nanotube. Very nice. Great for Haley. I prefer the piercing light on her instead of the perforator. And then what is this one? The executor. Clairvoyance, which is kind of flat, that weapon. And then skins or paint. So we got brown and bright leather green. Fun. Dark gray. Oh, that'd be cool. And then platinum silver. Right on, and that's everything. And I still have a surplus. So now it's time to go back into our sell blueprints and sell off whatever we can. And for me, I like trying to get rid of my Descendant blueprints first. It doesn't really matter though. I can select all of these and then it's gonna fill with as much as it can take until I reach my cap. And it looks like it took all 15. So that's a new quality of life feature that they added. And then I can select all of those. And then let's sell. So they put in a couple of extras in here so you can't accidentally sell blueprints for your catalysts or your energy activators. And then you can't accidentally sell more than your inventory will allow for your ETA vouchers. So it'll hold to that cap. So if you're trying to add something and it won't let you add to it, that's probably why you've reached your cap or you would go over it. So cool. So we bought everything and we end up coming out capped with our premium credits and then 255 years. Now, if you're anything like me and you're working on so many different Descendants, then it's easy to forget which reactors you need to farm for. That's why I'm adding this reminder for the hottest farms of the week so that you can catch them over the weekend before the map resets, which is on Tuesday or Monday night. So Freyna's reactor, you got to get this one. It's a Mirage Stone. I recommend this mission, the heavy equipment entry path, but do whatever one you want. But this one's a pretty decent one. There's lots of enemies. That's going to give you the toxic with tech and special rounds reactor. So that's perfect for the secret garden, which is the best weapon for Freyna right now. Hopefully that changes in the future with the Fallen Hope. It needs a little bit of a rework. And I have a feeling they're working on it. For attributes, have tech damage and cooldown, but duration and range are also great. Now in the Vermilion, you have non-attribute, general rounds, and dimension. So this is really good for Glay if you want to run something like the Enduring Legacy or even the Thunder Cage. And the surveillance location here, this mission is all right. Another Freyna one shows up in Hagios, and that's in the Fractured Monolith zone. So you got toxic, impact rounds, and tech. And here you would want to farm the large supply transport point, or you can also farm the boss here at this fusion reactor. So impact round weapons with the tech reactor are really good for boss centric builds if you're going to create something special there for Freyna. And then in Hagios at the forward base, you have chilled, high power rounds, and singular. That's for Haley's sniper build using the piercing light, which is the weapon I prefer for her. If you're going to go with the piercing light, the broadband fleet beacon is what I recommend you farm. And make sure you get damage to Colossus on that reactor. From there, duration or singular damage is really good. The White Knight Gulch has a good farm, and that is here, the mountaintop, so non-attribute, dimension, and impact rounds. So the Peacemaker is impact rounds, and that makes this perfect for Glay. So Glay's mob build, if you can run the Peacemaker with it, you get more damage out of it. And the other reason why it's really hot is because you can do the borderline of truth and get tons of advanced neural circuits. And it's a decent little gold farm too. Look here in the Moongrave Basin, you have Chill, General Rounds, and Singular. So this is also a good farm for Haley if you're looking to run her as a general weapon platform, so like the Enduring Legacy or the Thunder Cage or the Python. I usually farm the water cooling recording device. There's several good missions in here, but this one I like, lots of drops. The other one worth doing is in the Echo Swamp, the Abandoned Zone, Electric, General Rounds, and Singular. This is a bunny reactor, and the reason why you probably need to farm this is because they just came out with new non-crit based mods for characters like Bunny that would benefit from them. That probably means you need a reactor if you were putting crits on your reactor. So this is the spot to do it, and you want to go to here, the Environment Contamination Zone, formerly a really good bunny run, but Freyna probably does pretty darn good in there as well. And I'd be looking for singular damage on there. Electric is all right too, but you probably can get a little bit diminishing return on that. Otherwise, range, cooldown, or duration would be good options. All right, get out there. Good luck. Thank you for hanging out with me. My name is Tuxedo Bandido. That's Tito Bandido.
One and only.
And this was another episode of The First Descendant. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to ensure you don't miss out on the fantastic experiences waiting for you in The First Descendant. And if you like videos like this, check out the one I have recommended for you right here. If you have anything you want to see covered, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make everything possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be without you.
When you buy or download anything for The First Descendant, be sure to use Tux's creator code to support the channel. Easy peasy.
Follow me.